Ay, ay, ay. All right. It has been a journey to get here for this little coffee and chat today. It's a topic that I'm so excited about and one that I've been thinking a lot about as I've been making these big changes in my life, immigrating to a different country, changing work completely, letting myself change and grow in the ways that are wanting to come out of me so intensely at this time. Like, it is not something I can ignore. So I am thinking about this topic a lot, and it's made me realize how when we are in a creative flow and we're in a time of like allowing the mystery of life to kind of unfold through us, how linear time stops working the same way, and how I've often found that linear time and our desire to control time and to storytell in a specific way can be, yes, a great tool. We can come up with ideas and concepts and understand ourselves and our evolution in life. It can also be the thing that traps us. It can also be the thing that kind of keeps us locked into old patterns. I thought I would just explore a few ways that I've noticed that when I'm trying to control my narrative, my story, myself, time, where it's kind of blocked me or kept me pulled back, and how we can kind of work with these concepts to open ourselves up a little bit more and create some more spaciousness. So the first one that I've thought about a lot, especially since announcing that I want to change things up around here, is trying to keep ourselves the same. I think this is a product of our consumer culture that has a lot of obsession with youth and beauty, where it's like you have to slap on this cream so that you don't change. You don't step outside the lines, so that your relationship to your body doesn't change, so that your face doesn't change, so that your value doesn't change. And this is such a twisted, weird thing to put on people and to try and convince people of, because we're meant to change. This feels good. It feels good to change. Instead of it being this taboo topic of us aging or changing or seeing things come and go, it can be something that gives us life and animation. And I found this to be really true, in just deciding to change at my work, because for me, I was trying to hold myself as who I was in like 2018. 2018 Sarah is awesome. I love her so much. I look up to her. I think she's amazing. But am I 2018 Sarah? No. And so I was so afraid of change, of the way that I was meant to change. I was keeping myself locked in this old pattern. And I could feel my energy kind of getting stifled. I could feel everything kind of being muffled. I wasn't thinking new ideas. I wasn't getting excited. I was feeling really stuck, really static, really contracted. And I didn't even realize how much until I just let myself change. I just let myself acknowledge that I am just different. I just feel different. I'm curious about different things. And so if you're like me and you're going through a phase where some new things are calling to you from beyond what is known and what you're told you need to maintain, this is just an encouragement that it's okay to open that door and put your toes out there and see how it feels, and it will open up new energy, because we are not meant to stay static. We're not meant to stay the same forever. It's never a requirement, despite all the messages that tell us that that's what we should be trying to do, is try to control ourselves. The next thing I was thinking about when it comes to like time and creativity and the way our minds work is the movie narrative kind of timeline that is often shown to us in movies and in books, and especially in our cinema world. A lot of movies, especially mainstream movies, are going to have that really, really clear arc, which is fun. It's playful. It's super relaxing for our brains because it makes sense. It makes sense of time. However, it doesn't translate very well to the creative process of being an energetic being, because there's a lot of mystery inside of our process. And I think sometimes the way movies work and the way sometimes even tools like journaling or vision boarding works is it's almost like we're trying to micromanage our future. We're trying to control the outcome. And of course, use healthily. Vision boards and journaling and visioning what we really care about is so useful. It's good to use our imagination for what wants to come in. However, the dark side comes when we try to start to put these kind of micromanaging tools on ourselves, and we don't leave enough spaciousness for ingredients that want to come and meet us. And so a lot of times I like to just leave blank places in my planning for the future and just get curious and listen, rather than trying to monologue my way into the control. I also think it leaves us trapped in this expectation of ourselves needing to have these very exuberant, extreme examples of knowing that we're okay in life. And movie narratives can kind of sometimes make it seem like we need to have goals that kind of line up with a movie type narrative. And when we take away that kind of linear, clean, bombastic imagery and we allow ourselves to be a little bit more in our own natural rhythm, we're giving ourselves a lot more grace for the things that come in that we don't expect, because things happen that cause us grief, and that's not our fault. It's not something we did wrong. It's not that we were mismanaging our narrative and therefore these terrible things were happening. It's something that we all are going to go through. It also doesn't leave any space for the unimaginable horizon of the people and the places and the things that are going to come in that we can't even include in our journaling and in our vision boarding or in our control minds, because we aren't even aware they exist. So that's another place I think sometimes the way that we imagine ourselves can get in the way and actually make it harder on ourselves, and we can release that a little bit. Finally, I feel like one of my favorite things to do when I'm wanting more creativity in my life and I'm wanting a little bit of free space is to create a spaciousness of mystery in the day-to-day. Just waking up in the morning, getting in connection with the mystery of this day. I don't know what ideas are going to come through. I could have a totally new idea I've never thought of before, who I'm going to end up talking to or messaging, who I'm going to end up having a phone call with, who I'm going to run across on the street, what new food I might try. There's a lot of spaciousness and creativity in the day-to-day. And the more that we can practice into the spaciousness of not knowing, of not being in control of linear narrative, of not being in control of our entire future and the way we look all of the time, that actually is opening the door to creativity. And all three of these things I think have been really playing out for me in work. But I also have to say, it's been making me think too about how I even got here to Sweden in the first place, because y'all, I did not see it coming when it came into my life. Like, not even close. I was visiting my sister. I was dog sitting for her. She lives in Berlin. And so I took like a month and was helping her out with her new dog and just working, doing my thing, enjoying myself. And at the time, I was kind of envisioning maybe building a sustainable house in the southwest of the US. I was thinking about maybe moving to Amsterdam. I had a couple different ideas in my head that I was toying with. And I was kind of open, but I was also in this really good space where I was letting some of that spaciousness in. I'm like, I don't really know what's next, but I'm going to try not to control this too much. I'm just going to listen. I'm going to kind of watch, do what needs to be done, but then also just stay open. And I could feel that something was coming and I had no idea what. Lo and behold, I met my partner that summer in Berlin in 2019. He was visiting from Sweden. We were both there on vacation. We met and it just took off from there. And suddenly my path included Sweden. And it's so funny because I never envisioned Sweden as my future, because it just wasn't even on a list. It was like a cool place that maybe I would visit one day, but I hadn't been like advocating for this being the place that I would live. And it is so perfect for me. And I know some people wonder how I'm doing here, how I deal with like Swedish culture. I'm going to get into that in another video, but I will just say it fits me very well. It's very comforting here. I've never felt more warm, more safe, more understood, and like I can just take off the costume of the outgoing person all the time and just be more authentically myself. I feel so safe and loved here. I'm really, really happy. But for me, this whole move, like everything, meeting the partner that is so perfect for me, getting pulled into this path that also includes a place that is so perfect for me, and things that have really, really taught me and enriched me in so many ways are things that I did not manage into my life. I did not micromanage them. I did not vision board them. I did not pre-plan any of it. What I will say that I was doing is I was really honoring myself and making sure that I was healing and doing my work and being really honest about what it is, the core values that I really cared about, which was kindness and simplicity and warmth and all of these key qualities. Of course, I was aware of those, but I was also just really, really open. And I think it's one of those magical things where it was not about me writing a beautiful narrative for my life, but instead just listening and getting curious. And I think the same thing is happening now with my work. I'm just listening and getting curious and seeing what comes. And I'm really working on creating that spaciousness rather than tightening and trying to have more control. And for any of you out there who are going through a time where you don't really know what's next, or you're a little scared of what's next, or you know what's calling to you, I promise it's going to be okay. Just try things out, create a little spaciousness in your life. Know that it is natural to want to change shape and form. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to be controlling yourself back into a corner. And it's a beautiful time to open up and try some new things. So that's a little bit about how I ended up here in Sweden, and what a surprise it was to me when it initially happened. Now it just feels like such an innate part of my life. I can't imagine life without my partner, without Sweden, without Stockholm, without Swedish. It would be really, really weird. So I'm super grateful. Anyway, that's my chat. I would love to see you over on our Patreon. I've got a couple tiers going right now, and it's such a beautiful little community if you're looking for support. We do talk a lot about astrology and just energy over there. It's a really great space. You can also find me on Instagram at Vrba, or on my website or my email. So I'll leave all the links for that below, my beautiful friends. There's a lot coming up around here, and I'm very excited to share more of life's journey with you. Talk to you soon.